back, but at the same time, they also got to take big steps forward. What maybe if you had to pinpoint as of right now the biggest step that you want to see in this offseason's way?
Well, we first of all, Nick, I think we took a big step forward. Given everything that's happened in our program this year, with injuries and some off-court things, and some really tough, heartbreaking losses. To be sitting at 13-13 with a young group and figure out a way to dig yourselves out of it is a really credit to them. And I think the changes that we made defensively, and why we certainly weren't perfect tonight, we've gotten so much better on that end of the floor, and that's going to give us a chance moving forward, because I think that mindset has changed, and we have to carry that into the offseason. Our strength and conditioning, nutrition program this offseason is extremely critical that we take another step physically with this group of guys, and then recruiting is always a big piece of it too. We got to add to that, and we'll sit down with the guys, and Martin's got a difficult decision to make. I certainly understand it. He's 24 years old. He's been hurt 3 times with an ACL, and does he want to start his professional career, or does he want to come back for another year? And those are some discussions that we'll have in the coming weeks. But we've got to hit the road and recruit. We've got to continue to evaluate our roster and our personnel, and really pinpoint things that we want guys to get better at. We had a rough shooting night from our starting guard core tonight, and that's going to happen once in a while. You just hope it doesn't happen on the same night. So, but I'm proud of the guys. I'm extremely proud of those 2 seniors. I asked the team in the locker room. I'm not sure my senior year in college, if given the career that I'd had before that senior year, and given the career that Caleb had and Connor had, could I have done what they did this year with the same approach and the same attitude and the same level of respect for their coaches and their teammates and for the name on the front of their jersey? And they were incredible in that regard. So I'm so proud of them. I'm proud for what they stand for. I'm proud that they stuck with this young group and helped mentor this young group during some tough times this season, and got us out of it to the point that we were able to make a run at the end, tie for 3rd in the Big East, get ourselves in the NIT, win a couple games, and give ourselves a chance to go to New York.
Mac, we've talked so much about this team and how it's built on offense. Certainly front half of the season, we outscored a lot of teams, but here over the last month and a half or so, the script really flipped, and it had to, because you were so short-handed and you played so much better on the defensive end. What can you now do to build off of that? Because it was such a weird start to the season. We gave up a lot of games where it was more than a point per possession. Had some of our best defensive games down the stretch.
Well, Nick and I were talking last night. 6 of our first 19 games, or only 6 of our first 19, we held teams below 1 point per possession defensively. Going into tonight, if we count the Villanova one on our side, because in regulation we actually did hold them below 1 point per possession, we had done it 12 out of the last 15 games. So the culture and mindset on the defensive end of the floor was something that we recognized as a staff when we're 5 or 6 games into the conference season. We aren't making any strides in the defensive end, and you put so much pressure on your ability to score 1.2 points per possession, or you're going to lose. So we really made changes with our practice plan, the way we went about practice. We probably spent 75 to 80% of our time on the defensive end, and really going back to some fundamental things that you have to do if you're going to be good on that end of the floor. And to our guys' credit, we were able to change that. I think our offense suffered because of that somewhat, but I like what it did for us moving forward. I think we have a mindset now that we understand what has to happen and how connected you have to be on the defensive end. How you have to trust that if you go to help a teammate, that your teammate is going to help you. And we got so much better at that the last 15 or 16 games, and that's something that we'll carry into the off-season workouts. And then hopefully now we come back and we start to work on our offense at the same time as we prepare for our trip to Australia in August. And we can put them both together, and we can be a little bit more efficient on the offensive end to go with the good defensive numbers.
Mac, you obviously, the Martin decision is still looming out there, but it's a pretty full scholarship load right now with so many guys coming back. So what do you look for as far as any player acquisition during the offseason?
Well, I mean, I think we'll look certainly for a transfer that can sit out. We've had really good fortune with the guys that have come through our program, from Grant Gibbs to Maurice Watson to Marcus Foster to Connor and Caleb, and right on down the line. So, you know, we've had guys that have been able to impact our program in a positive way, and the market in that area continues to grow. So that's one. The possibility of a graduate transfer is certainly there if we can find the right guy that maybe gives us some depth at a position where we think we need to add a little something. And then, you know, the possibility of another high school guy. You know, when there's coaching changes, there's guys that become available, and so you have to evaluate all that. And it's, you know, recruiting has really changed. It's just you do your thing in the summertime and the fall and the early signing period, but when March and April hits, it's a whole nother recruiting season. You got about a month here where a lot of things shake down, and I think there's 360 or 70 kids in the NCAA transfer portal right now, which is more than 100 more on the same date than last year. So, you know, we're evaluating that. I'll be going on the road at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and, you know, our staff will be out there going to work. So I like the group. I like the core group that we have coming back. I think they showed some signs of what we can become in the future. And, you know, hopefully we can add a couple pieces and really build on some of the good things that happened late this season.
Well, we never like to end on a loss, but unfortunately not many teams get to celebrate a win at the end of their season. Just want to thank you again for having us along, all of myself and all of my broadcast partners this year, and look forward to even better things next year.
Well, thanks, John, and I appreciate your professionalism, and certainly Nick has been terrific with us during my 9 years at Creighton. And also
all 6 games he did with us this year.
Yeah. We were a little better when he was away, I think.
Yeah, my fault. My bad.
I haven't looked back on that record yet, but I'm about to. And also want to thank our fans. You know, it's just it's been awesome. We averaged over 17,000 fans a game once again until we got to the NIT. But, you know, the guys continue to talk about that last NIT game and how into it that crowd was and how much fun that was. And, you know, you have your true blue loyal fans that are there supporting during that. And, you know, it helps us recruit. It helps us retain because people understand what a special place this is. So, you know, I'm blessed to be the coach at Creighton. I love what I do every day. And we've made some good strides with a young team, and you know, we're going to try to take a step and get back to the NCAA tournament where we belong next season.
Thanks, Mac.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mac.